Evan,
And listen,
what do you think about a Ben Simmons for Evan Fournier trade?
you want to know what's funny about that? We can't even do it because Ben Simmons makes $30 million a year and Evan Fournier makes $17 million a
Or just
year.
add someone
Yes,
else.
Lou, Ben Simmons makes
He makes
$30
30.
million a year.
Stealing money,
Put in
legitimately
throw
stealing
in
money.
Josh Hart.
That is why he has not ran out of outfits yet. We're not throwing in any useful players for Ben Simmons. Okay,
Holy crap. He
30
has no
million,
incentive to get a jump shot. He's
At
making 30
all.
mil.
30 mil, man.
30
Holy
mil just to be a floor
Just to
seat
sit
ticket
He's
tall
a
season
on the
great
holder.
bench like
defender.
No,
this,
no,
He's a great defender. What are you talking
eat
about?
nah,
Mandarin
man.
oranges,
He's a
and watch
ticket.
the game go by.
He's being the most expensive season ticket holder for the
Absolutely.
Brooklyn Nets, floor
$30
seats and
freaking
all.
mil, bro.
So to your the Haas is floored by that. So
I
Evan
didn't know he was
to your
Fournier,
making that
question,
much.
Evan
so to your
Fournier,
question,
Quinn Grimes. Who else can we throw in there for Ben
why?
Simmons?
No, we're not doing any of that.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 303 podcast. It's your guy Hans here with my guys. I got Evan over here with my boy Lou.
You already know. I'm still mad that it works for him.
Every time. It
Every
never
time.
fails, without fail. And we have the pod mama in the background, as always, making sure we're on point, coaching us from the bench. We have a great lineup in store for you today. A lot has happened this past week. There's so much for us to get to. So we're just going to jump right into it. On the week of the anniversary of Kobe dropping 81, it seems like everyone was in line. I'm not a great believer of astrology and planets lining up and stars and all that stuff, but it seems that everybody got the text message in the group chat that we need to honor the Mamba and we need to go off this week because numbers were being put up. And I'm not afraid to say it. I thought this was going to be the year or week that Wilt Chamberlain's record gets taken down. I really did. I really did. Honestly, the way numbers were being put up, I was like, is this going to happen? Are we going to make history? Like, is this going to happen? We had MB dropping 70. We had Luka with 73. We had Cat. We had Devin. Everybody was really just going off. And I, for one, love that it coincided with Kobe's anniversary of him dropping 81 on Toronto and Jalen Rose specifically. Poor Jalen, man. Poor Jalen. But there's nothing nobody could do. That was just a historic game. But so many questions to ask, guys. Now, each game is different, and we'll, of course, talk about each game as much as we can. But to lump them together, if you had to put a solid theme for these fantastic and spectacular high-scoring outputs, what do you think is happening in the NBA outside of them maybe paying homage to Kobe, right, and putting up buckets? What do you think is happening or happened in the NBA this week that garnered us to have such high-scoring performances from these stars? What do you think is happening? I'll start with you, Ev. When you were watching some of these games, what did you think was happening?
Well, a couple of things. One, offense is as good in the NBA as it's ever been. I'll give you a quick example of that. You look back just 10 years, 2013, 2014 season, the Houston Rockets led the league in points per game at 112 points per game. That would be good for 24th in the league right now. The Detroit Pistons are averaging 112 points per game right now. The Indiana Pacers leading the league at 124 points per game. So offense as a whole has just picked up tremendously. That we know that by watching the game. The skill set of players has picked up just tremendously from the standpoint of efficiently scoring buckets. When you look at players like Joel Embiid, a center, right? We had this conversation about centers last week, about the evolving game of the big man. Joel Embiid, 42% of his shots come between 10 and 20 feet from the basket. We're talking about a 7 foot, 280-pound player, right? You look at Luka Doncic. We remember. I was talking about Houston. We remember how James Harden's ISO game used to go. Luka Doncic, he's got the step back 3-pointer game, but he's also he's 6'7", 240. He's putting guards
Dude's
on his
huge,
hip,
man.
carrying them to the basket, right? So when you just look at the overall evolution of offense from an individual standpoint, we may be seeing a collection of the most lethal offensive scorers that we've seen. Now, there's been 70-point games before and a bunch of 60-point games before, but to see this concentration of games like this in the span of 7 days, you said you're not believe in astrology like that. I'm in line with you as well, but it felt like some sort of universal basketball symmetry in place, to see the performances that we did break out like that. And it was special to see.
100%, man. I for one was in awe. I know one game I missed, and you guys put it in the chat. Lou put it in the chat, and I was just like, Luca's game. That's the one I missed, and I was just like, holy crap, what is happening? What is happening now, Lou? From your perspective, are you in agreement with some of the pundits out there basically saying that there is an extreme lack of defense out there in the league? Are you seeing a lack of defense as well, or what else are you seeing that you think is contributing to the high scoring that we're seeing?
Well, I think that's number one the case. We saw Edwards recently talk about when they played OKC about Shea Gilly, and saying how, yeah, he's a great player, but when you're not able to touch him, of course, a player with these particular offensive skills, this offensive skill set that we're seeing now in the league, being so pronounced with the lack of being able to play physical defense, you're going to see higher scoring games. But this is what the league wanted. They wanted it to be more exciting. They wanted fans to be more engaged, the viewership to go up. We know there's been a lull over the past couple of years with the NBA. So it's like, how do we make it exciting? And scoring is one of the best ways, if not the number one way to get have viewers engaged. Recently, Adam Silver just sat down with Kevin Garnett and talked about it, and they're saying, well, they're looking to find some ways to mitigate that, and to have some balance, to keep the defense still honest and interesting, so that it's not the scoring that we're seeing, the game that we're seeing isn't just strictly like every night is an all-star game type of night. But you mentioned something that people may or may not agree with, Dane, that the 90s, the physicality of the game got to a point where you weren't able to see the offensive versatility that we're able to see right now in the league. So I think at some point the league's going to have to find a way to balance it out, because I think we are getting to a point where it's getting too far to just being more of an exhibition rather than a competition.
So I was listening to a couple shows and looking at a couple stats. I do know that we have gone up as far as averaging more possessions, like 5 more possessions per game. And then also the rule changes are geared more towards protecting shooters, right? So that definitely changes the landscape of the game as well too. So you're protecting shooters more. You have the Kawhi rule with the ankle, the Zaza Pachulia, that, and then as Lou alluded to earlier with Anthony Edwards, which you no longer, back in the 90s, you could really put that arm on that defender out there, but you can't do that. You can't touch them from a certain area, feet towards the basket. So I do think that the evolution of the game with the rule changes as well has given room for more explosive offense. But also, if I'm honest, I think now, as far as gaining access to the NBA, you have to be skilled offensively at every position. Gone are the players that can just play defense and
Bodies,
that's it.
just the bodies.
Yeah,
Yep.
that are just the bodies, that are just the walls. At every position, you have to be equipped and skilled in some way, shape, or form offensively. And I think that's a great contribution to the game as well. I think we're benefiting from seeing the variety of ways players can basically put the ball in the basket. And I think that's great for the game. What I do think or fear is that we may become desensitized to 40-point games, 50-point games now.
But
Right? Like
you're getting basically what I'm about to get into because it's not special anymore. When you've seen these prolific scorers do it against tough defenses, it meant that much more. You're able to put up 40 points. You're the only guy who's been able to put 40 points up on this team all season, or maybe in a string of seasons. Like that to me, the offensive ability, though, yes, it's prettier to see now. And the fluidity of the game is better now, but what it means in terms of like, okay, how great are you really? Because now this is basically the standard. Anybody can go out and put up 35.
But here's what about the other side of that though? In the sense of if you're comparing errors, right, which can be troublesome in doing, if you had players who were less offensively equipped that allowed the more offensively equipped person to have more opportunities to get those points. You get what I'm saying? So back then, you didn't have versatile players who were able to score in a variety of ways as you do right now, right? Look at Joel Embiid, for example. You don't have centers scoring outside the paint, hitting threes, and, being able to score from 3-point down like we do now. You didn't have that. David Robinson wasn't getting out there. You get what I'm saying? Like Shaq wasn't getting out there. Hakeem wasn't getting out there exactly. So I feel like there has to be kind of like a balance to it. I just don't know what it is, but I do think we are getting to the point like we have cats averaging 30 and it's nothing to us now. It's really nothing to us. Yeah, like nothing to us.
But it really isn't though. That's the thing.
And that's fine.
It
So
really
like
isn't.
are we now and I'm bringing this to bring up the other side of the guys who scored high and lost. So you have Cat who put up 60, you have Devin who put up 60, you get what I'm saying, but it didn't translate to a win as well too.
So the best way I can give an example of this is like offense in the NBA is like inflation. $100 back then it meant more than $100 now. What you were able to do from offensive in terms of really standing out and being special then is a lot more difficult now. Now, one can say that's great because then you're pushing the offensive ability, but I think that you can have both by having a better balance between offense and defense. But yeah, just averaging 30 is like averaging 20 now. So,
well, we've seen analytics and the impact of analytics in a bunch of sports, right? So when you look at all the sports, in baseball, you got your 3 outcomes. It's home runs, strikeouts, or walks now. So the 5-tool hitter that, used to be able to ground out singles, steals, things of that nature, that player's been phased out. They're trying to bring it back. In basketball, it's the exact same thing. The post play was one of the least efficient on the aggregate type of ways to score. So post play has phased out. The mid range is not as effective as threes and layups. So unless you're one of the elite players at shooting mid range shots, that is phased out. The corner 3 has been prioritized, and not only just the corner 3, but 3s over 2s have been prioritized. So what you've seen, and especially before this year, you saw a lot of homogeny where almost everybody was starting to play the exact same way, and the focus was more on these specific outcomes than it was stylistic to the game. So what we've seen is analytics has driven the type of offense that we see. So we've seen that explosion because the priority is just on those type of high percentage categories of shots. But it has taken away from the diversity of the game so much. And what we've seen is, okay, we're now 10, 15 years into this shift. That means players that have grown up in AAU ball and the like, and they've been taught to play to aim for just these types of shots. That's what we're seeing now at the NBA level. So it's it's the good and bad that comes with analytics.
See, the only difference, I in what you're talking about, for instance, like baseball versus, a basketball and so on. Yes, I understand those analytics and type and the prototypical player that you're starting to look for on offense, but the rules that have now diminished what you could do on defense, right? Those two things can exist on their own. You can still have these types of players that have developed this particular offensive skill set, but then now how that defense now, you can't even allow for players to do certain things that they would do closer to the basket now, or even looking to go get the layup that we're talking about now, or even now they since had changed it so you couldn't get those and ones that James Harden was turning frequently in 4-point plays, but all defensively things that were also a catalyst to the style of play has to also be taken into account, because I think if they clamp down on the defense a little bit more, or rather give a little bit more wiggle room to the defensive play, I think that that by virtue will drive that versatility on how you would be able to score.
The defensive player is helpless nowadays because they're even practicing how to grab your arm, hook onto your arm, right? As soon as the defender has their arm out, right?
Yep.
You see players every day. Like they train for this now. Hook
Or
the
train how to
arm.
sweep.
Yeah, it's hook the arm, sweep under the arm, get the foul, get easy points at the free throw line. You could basically run over a defensive player on the way for a layup, right? But if they even touch you, the offensive player, the defensive player gets called for a foul, but you could basically run over the defensive player on the way for a layup.
It's interesting because I remember, like, if you remember the clip where Cayenne, they're asking him, do you think he would beat his father at 16 and so on? But they're asking me what's your go-to to you have the last shot of the game. He's like, hezzy pull, or hezzy, or try to get a foul. Like, that's what they're thinking. How do I get to what's going to be my easy shot, my easy move to get me the bucket? If I do a hezzy, well, I know they're probably going to try not to foul me, so they're going to give me some space. I'm going to be able to pull. Or I'm full on focused on trying to get to the line so I can get the easy buckets, because I already know that, hey, man, if they touch me, more than likely, if I can get the ball up, if I can get into shooting motion, I'm going to the free throw line.
Facts. I also think that evolution is something that we have to consider as well too.
Like the dinosaurs?
Yeah. I'm a Christian, but I believe in some forms of evolution. I think the Bible allows room for evolution as well too, to a certain extent. I think that just like the rules evolved, right, and it created a different skill set or a monster, you could say, as far as offense is concerned. Because let's be honest, with the onset of the rule changes, it created players like Steph Curry, James Harden, Luka Doncic, right? So I
Did you just
think,
call Steph Curry a creative player?
yes, very much so, by virtue of
like
the game. By virtue of the game. So I think that at the end of the day, naturally, playing defense is harder. It's harder, in my opinion. It's harder to be a great defensive player than it is like to be an offensive player, right? Like great defense, like it's hard. And you're seeing that the evolution of what the prototypical great defensive player is changing from what it was from back in the day to what it is now. And I think that offense, given how the rules has changed, offense has definitely got a head start. But I do think it's going to bring about a different prototype of a defensive player. One who is able to, number one, it's going to be a Nicholas Batum type of player, a lanky player who's able to move their feet, but also has the length as well, right? Those are going to be what your defensive players are going to look like, because they're going to be able to, they have to be able to move their feet, but they also have to have length on them as well to block shots, i.e. shots or affect shots like the step back, things of that nature as well. So I do think that defensive players are going to evolve. It's just going to take longer. Just at the end of the day, defense is a lot harder and it takes a lot more discipline. But you still can't, like Lou was saying, you still can't ignore the rate and the significance of the rule changes on the offensive side. Like there's been a lot more rule changes on the offensive side than there has been on the defensive side. Now there has been some on the defensive side, like Lou was talking about the swing through, right? By virtue of, who was that? KD? Was that KD who
KD was a big
caused
one.
that? It was KD.
KD, but Chris Paul was a big one of the
Yeah, I was
early
thinking
ones in
Chris
doing
Paul,
that.
but I don't know if it was Chris Paul or KD. And then, D Wade with the jump fake and jump into you. So they are giving some allowances back to the defense in that regard as well too. But offense just still has so much of a head start that I think it's going to take a while for that prototype defensive player to develop to kind of balance it. So I in my opinion, I feel like that's also what's happening as well too. Like gone are those defenders who could be rough, with the guards.
Yeah. I think also is like, we're seeing a lot more D'Antoni type of coaching than Thibodeau, right? The guys who are like, look, we're going to just look to outscore you. So let's put together our best offensive package possible. And more so than, hey, God. But, I like you mentioned, you have guys like Ant who really look to play defense. There's still some of these young guys who enjoy playing like the twins, the Thompson twins, and they're also known for their defensive ability in this last draft, and you're seeing what they're able to do. So yes, by virtue, man, we're going to see some of these guys, these players evolve. And, I'm just looking forward to hoping that the NBA can keep some balance into it.
Offense sells, and just real quick, watching the Knicks game, they were reminiscing this weekend about an Allen Houston game winner, game 5 of the 1999 Eastern Conference Finals versus the Miami Heat. The point of me bringing that up is that he hit the game winner. The final score, I think, was 78-77. I don't think anybody wants to go back to those times.
No, 100%. Offense sells in every sport. That's why baseball has the pitching clock, right? Like, offense sells. Nobody wants to go watch a game that ends 0-1. Baseball, like the worst.
We love that in soccer, though.
Oh, soccer's different, though. Soccer's different. You have action all the time. That's different.
True gladiators.
If you join us for our soccer podcast, me and Lou are going to talk about the drama and controversy involving VAR in European soccer. All right.
I will be a part of that as well.
Hey, I like
Christian will be there. I won't be. I'll be producing that podcast.
Yeah, we got three. We got 3 people. Perfect.
There you go.
I'll be the producer.
Y'all flip boxes.
Yeah, we'll flip boxes. I'll go dark. Christian will be on screen, and I'll just produce from there. That's what we're doing. All right, guys. Moving on. So we've had yet another coach change in the NBA, and this one is spicy.
Darvin?
Spicy. Say it again.
Darvin?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh.
Fortunately.
Sadly, Christian, you guys did not win in the Doc Rivers sweepstakes. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry. You didn't punch your ticket, man. Listen, man. Them bots, they got to him. So Adrian Griffin has been let go, and abruptly let go. And the Bucks were interviewing people, but we all knew who they were targeting because Doc was consulting with the team. This whole thing is messy, okay? I'm going to set it up.
The mess is back. The mess is back, Hubs.
It's messy.
Yeah, the 1 week hiatus, and we're back.
Listen. I'm telling you, all I said was keep it calm and peace for Dr. King, and y'all did, and then it got messy. Okay?
And then they brought in the doctor.
Listen,
from one doc to the next.
One doctor. Listen. Kept it moving, kept it on theme, on brand. So they brought in Doc, etc. So I have issue with this because we're gonna go all the way back. Budenholzer, right? He led you to your championship that you had in decades. Okay, he had a death in the family, lost his brother. Understand how that can affect somebody, but yet and still, he is arguably the one who developed your team into what it is today, or set the foundations, got you to the mountaintop, right? You lose to the Heat first round. For me, I can overlook that if my star player was injured, right? To me, that's understandable. But no, Giannis puts pressure. We need to win now. We need to win now. Figure it out because they need to re-sign him, right? They go out and they win the Dame Lillard sweepstakes, unfortunately for us Portland fans. They get Adrian Griffin, who was on the bench. He was a part of Budenholzer's team. You get who you want. And then all of a sudden, he tries to implement his stuff. You don't like it. You have team meetings. And then apparently there's a blowout, which I don't know if you guys noticed. They got into it during a game. Adrian tried to take Giannis out of a game. Giannis didn't want to get taken out of the game and was like, I'm not coming out. All this issues happening, and you got Doc consulting. They had a players meeting and they held each other accountable.
Oh, way before, don't forget, Indiana versus the Bucks, an in-season tournament. In-season tournament also apparently has added to the field to this fight.
Oh, yes. They got bounced out the season tournament as well. And
They
then
lost to Indiana every other time they played them.
facts, right? Basically, they're bickering and everything. That they have a meeting, everybody calls everybody out. They go on a little run after that, but then they go straight back to the bickering. They get rid of this guy. They bring in Doc. Yo, I thought we were going to stay away from the messiness, but this just screams messy to me, especially since at the time of his firing, they had what, the second best record in the league? Second
30
or
and
third best?
13.
Yeah, 30 and
sir.
13. Second best record in the league. And you let this guy go? Now, who do you bring to replace him is Doc. Doc has one championship to his name. He holds the record for worst losing percentage in game sevens. When you look at his last two stops, they've all fallen short. And he's only had, what, one conference final appearance since one conference final appearance. So since
Boston.
Celtics. Since the Boston Celtics won. Is he gonna take you to the promised land? Is he gonna fix your ails and remedies? Is he gonna bring you guys together and take you where you need to be? At this point in the season, that's for y'all to answer.
Dirty Mac
I'ma let
at his
Lou go.
finest, y'all.
I'm going to let Lou go first. I just want to fix one small point of your timeline because I might have some contrarian takes. But Adrian Griffin was hired before the trade for Dame Lillard.
Yeah,
I think there's some importance in that. But Lou, go ahead.
All I'm saying is that there's Dirty Mac at his finest. You consulting the team. One wonders what you were saying in such consultations. And if there was any self-promotion that was involved as you took stock of what the current situation was and maybe some potential of maybe if I have this team and we get over the hump, there's some change in conversation around my name and my coaching ability. How did you answer your question? Can this guy get it done? I don't know. The guy who lost 3-1 leads? I don't know. Is it the guy that has lost 4-3-2 leads? I don't know. Is it the guy who's lost a game 7 at least 5 times? I don't know, man. You know, I don't know. And also is, you know, to be real, like we got to think about, if I'm from a management perspective, yes, I know Giannis is the guy. He's, you know, again, a superstar and a cornerstone. We know his jersey is getting retired. He might even get a statue in Milwaukee at this point.
Oh, he's getting a statue, 100%.
But, you know, at some point, you have to figure out, all right, what's best for your franchise, right? How do we reel this in a little bit? Because at the end of the day and correct me if I'm wrong, I've never seen a team win a championship strictly off the player coaching. and not the coaching actually happening from a strategic perspective. So I hope that Giannis is also kind of taking stock of like, hey, I'm putting all this pressure here, but at the end of the day, there needs to be a strategist that's on my side that that we're hand in hand. But just because we're not winning or it's not particularly working or we have some personal issues, what we have to figure out when it's like, look, at the end of the day, is your job is to win. And if it's been working, what's the issue now? So I think Giannis should tread a little lightly and trade fantasies.
Aha. They'll lose. They'll use, man. They will lose Giannis if they trade.
What? Oh no,
Thanasis, man.
you know what I mean? Look, we know that's this it's the alleged trying to trade him. They said was the straw that broke the camel's back, but who knows how true that is? But I do find that quite hilarious.
You know the memes on Twitter.
Oh, bro, they were
And
just
the
talking
internet
about
is undefeated, man.
undefeated. Hey man, even the Knicks got thrown as a front runner. Could you
Listen, man,
imagine?
we're over here minding our business. Nice little win streak, best record since January, and we get
sure it's not the
wrapped
Clippers?
up. Best record since January. Your New York Knickerbockers, number one in offense. Number one. Hold on, I got the picture right here. Saw it while watching the game today. Give me 1 second. That's not why I wanted to bring this up.
He's just
You
like,
caught me up.
New York didn't need to catch the stray.
That's all I was saying. New York didn't need to catch any straight.
While you're looking that up, Evan, I have a question
I
for
got-
you. You
Okay, go
brought
for
up you brought up how Adrian Griffin was hired before they traded for Dame. Are you saying that
Mhm.
Dame him getting Dame made his coaching worse?
No, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm saying.
You're right. It's the Knicks and the
It would
Clippers.
have
yeah.
in second
they
Oh,
would have
by
been
one
in
game.
first place. They
I
would have been in
didn't- I didn't
first
need
place
you to
if they
check.
never had Dame. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. Here's what I'm saying, and so I give you the full take. I put my Knicks stats over here on
My
the
bad.
side.
That's my bad. My bad.
No,
my
you're
bad.
good. You're good. So
No, that's my bad. I had to check him, man. He's
No,
throwing
listen,
out Nick
okay.
stats, man.
Listen,
Oh no,
man.
me.
First-
No, it's because I got
number
the
one
Knicks
in record,
conversation started.
number one in opponent points per game, number one in opponent field goals, number one in
All right,
defensive
all right.
rating.
That's
since
enough. That's enough
January
of
1st.
Nick them here, man.
That's
enough.
our Nick moment, courtesy of your boy. But all right, so back to the Bucks. So I agree with everything that y'all are saying. I'm gonna give another side of this situation. Okay, one thing I will say about Milwaukee is they're not afraid to make a move when they decide that the move needs to be made, regardless of the optics or the situation or the timing. Mike Budenholzer, before he won that championship, was one
On the
size
hot
18. Exactly. Kevin Durant shoe away from losing his job. So yes, they did win the championship, but it didn't change the issues that they had with his rigidness in his coaching style, right? So
Or
listen,
adjustment making.
losing the way they look, okay, 1-8 to the Miami Heat. I mean, hey, I understand what was going on, but that was a tough look, right? For somebody who had been on the hot seat previously. All right, so they fired
It was a
Budenholzer.
delayed reaction.
Yeah,
basically.
delay
Giannis
reaction.
was out though. But go
Listen,
ahead.
Giannis came back, and but still, it's the number 8 seed. I'm just giving another
No,
view.
no,
of it.
I'm
not
letting you
saying
go.
I
I
agree.
mean,
I know. So they hire Adrian Griffin. Now, the reports come out saying that Giannis didn't say to hire Adrian Griffin. He said not to hire Nick Nurse. And when
Yeah,
Adrian
I
Griffin
saw that
came up, he
report.
said, "Yeah, I would go along with it." But they also said that Giannis, Drew Holiday, important, and Chris Middleton were on the Zoom calls when they were finalizing their coaching decision, and they all signed off on Adrian Griffin. Why is this important? Two things. One, this was Adrian Griffin's 14th coaching interview. So what did the first 13 teams see in that it wouldn't work? That's a question in itself. But why I keep bringing up this Dame trade? I'm not saying whether they were better or worse. I can say they had the number 22 defense in the league so far this season. I think they're up to 18 now. But why is that important? What was the first Adrian Griffin issue? He switched up their defensive schemes and they didn't like it. Why did he switch up their defensive schemes? He got hired to coach a Drew Holiday-led defense. what he started the season with was a Dame Lillard-led defense. So yes, they have a 30-13 record, but they undermined him at the beginning. They gave him a team that was different than the team that he signed up for, and he didn't have the skill set to adjust. Now, again, to Milwaukee's credit, yes, it's 30-13, second record in the West, I mean in the East, but let's use Indiana for an example. You just lost to a team 4 straight times. You had 4 chances to beat a potential playoff team, and you couldn't figure out how to get one victory over them. All right. As spicy as it had gotten. If you can't do that in the regular season and your team doesn't believe in you and is undermining you, you say Giannis had one blow up. Giannis was pulling this one at least once every other week, coming back in the game or refusing to come out of a game. He didn't have institutional control. Why wait when you have a championship caliber team to flame out in May when you know you don't have institutional control now? Now, you bring up Doc Rivers. Okay, he definitely has all of those blemishes against him. One thing you can say about Doc, though, he galvanizes stars, right? He
No, that's
gains
facts.
control of the
That's
locker
his
room with
talent.
his stars.
That
That's
is
his
his
talent. And that's what this team needs right now,
Yep.
almost more than anything. And then the last thing, who else were they gonna get at the middle of the season?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I think,
They could have had Darvin
Evan, you
Ham.
hit one of the
listen, y'all
Yes,
trying to
yeah.
give Darvin Ham away from Doc. That's the point I was gonna say. Y'all
He
ain't had the
would have
balls
looked
to do
great
what
back with the
Milwaukee
Bucks.
did.
He could have went back
Hold
with the
on,
Bucks.
hold on. Y'all did not have the balls to do what Milwaukee just
Back
did,
though.
was fire their coach
If you
when
don't,
you
if you
see
think
it's
that's
not
bad,
working. Doc been on TV every week talking about, if I was the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, what I would do is, I mean, that's basically what he been saying
That's a
for
great
months.
impersonation.
It wasn't the best. I've heard some better ones, but you get what I'm getting at, though. So, I mean, he was right there in y'all's backyard. He would have loved to stay in LA and golf and coach. Now y'all got him out here in
yeah,
Milwaukee.
they brought in a game manager. I mean, or rather a team manager instead of a coach. I think they're pretty much feeling like they can be on autopilot.
Yeah.
But
Who are you talking about? The Bucks?
I'm talking about Doc for the Bucks. Yeah, for you guys clearly love you.
No, we just got a fan out there coaching. A season
You
ticket
got a
holder.
fan out there coaching.
Season ticket holder.
Ticket holder.
Season ticket
But
holder.
yeah, I guess what got me with the whole Bucks thing was the biggest egregious basketball wise, the biggest knock for me against Adrian Griffin basketball wise was the Indiana Pacers. That's to me the biggest thing. Like he said, you can't lose that many times to a team. And
especially after losing the in-season tournament.
What makes it significant is that's reminiscent. That's supposed to be a precursor to playoffs, right? Because what do you do in the playoffs? You play the same team over and over again. So you're supposed to be able to scheme against that. That to me was his biggest on the court, I guess, team-wise, like basketball playing between the lines, egregious. Now, granted, he clearly lacked the soft skills, which is probably what the 13 other team saw to bring a team together, which we should have saw when him and Stotts got into it, and that's why Stotts left. And Stotts was brought in, of course, because Dame is like, hey, I need this guy here because he coaches towards my strong suits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that should have been a red flag with Stotts being gone because Stotts is like, this guy's tripping. I'm out. They got into it, et cetera, et cetera. I guess for me, my concern is on the Doc end. I, as a therapist, one who's in the social skills, has degrees in that, understand the importance of bringing people together. And I think Doc will excel in that. I just hope that the X's and O's side of it has enough to get them over the hump. Because this is not a team that's going to be okay with just making it to the conference finals. This is not a team. And that's what worries me because Doc's pedigree is of that, right? Doc's pedigree is not of championship loss. You get what I'm saying? That's not Doc's pedigree. Tyronn Lue has more championship appearances than Doc Rivers. Okay. So all I'm saying is I am concerned on the X's O's side of things, but I'm rooting for them. I hope they figure it out. I hope they get it together. But that's a ballsy move at the end of the day. That's a ballsy move, like I've said. That took a lot of cojones. That took a lot of like, hey, we got to do to make it happen. And then also, man, that thing was messy as all get out, bro.
Dirty Mackin.
Messy.
Dirty Mackin.
Messy from every angle, bro. From every angle. So, anyway, go ahead.
I had two
Go
quick
ahead,
things,
Adam.
but now I got three quick things. One, clerical error. 4 or 5 losses to the Pacers. It's because the in-season tournament, they've played them 5 times. So they've lost 4 or 5. They did get one against them. Second thing, Doc isn't switching up too much X's and O's this year. The assistant coaches are handling all that. Doc is there for morale and confidence.
Team management.
Yeah, team management.
For this year. So next year, he might do more X's and O's.
Absolutely. And I just forgot my third thing, so we're good to go to the next segment. Sorry. If it comes back to me, I'll throw it out there.
Okay, cool. Got you.
What a segue. What a segue, Evan. God.
Thank you. It's not Louis worthy, but you know. What can I say?
Got you, man. Speaking of coaching all-stars, the all-star starters were revealed and given to us this past week. Now, the last episode, we gave the people who we thought should make the all-star team and where we thought, each player should be and who the snubs were. So given the results, guys, I, for one, I want to go into mine. I'll give you guys the floor first. Lou. So given the results of who's the starters, and I'll let you pick if you want to start with the East or the West. Who were you shocked? Because I want to do a little precursor. So the voting, the NBA had an issue with it being all fan base. So they want to weigh it out. So it's not all fan base. It's weighted out between fan vote, coaches, and media, if I'm not mistaken. So there's percentages pulled from each. So just because you get a majority of one doesn't guarantee you necessarily making the all-star spot this year. So I do want to give that precursor before Lou goes into what he sees. So given the results, Lou, is there a player that made the starting 5 all-star team that surprised you that you felt should have been a reserve? Who shouldn't be on there, Lou?
Hallie. They got the wrong Tyrese in.
Ooh, okay.
They got the wrong Tyrese in. Maxey is playing at a level that he should be, a star and an all-star. The way that he stepped into the Robin role to Embiid's Batman. And not only that, after coming up after 2 previous all-stars with Ben Simmons and James Harden. And also after the Jimmy Butler debacle as well. So for Maxey to come in and to do what he's doing at a high level and for the Sixers to have the success that they're having, yes, I understand this beautiful Cinderella story of Halliburton, but they got the wrong Tyrese in there. Should have been Maxey.
Okay, but I also feel like, Lou, you gave your answer too. You said he's the Robin. Robin can't be a starter, man.
Look.
Just saying, man.
When you had Kobe and Shaq as both as all-stars.
Kobe was Batman, stop. I'm going to cut off right there. I knew where you were going. I'm going to cut off right there.
No. You are
Kobe
tripping.
Was Batman.
You're tripping.
Kobe was Batman.
You're drunk. Them first 3 trips?
Yes.
He was Batman?
Yeah, that's why Kobe averaged more points than Shaq in the Western Conference Finals. That's why.
Please delete me. Please delete me immediately.
All right.
Remove me from the podcast.
I got you, bro.
Remove me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. You can't just, okay, we get it. You're a Lakers fan, but you're a delusional Lakers fan. I'm tired of this, yo.
I've never seen somebody run to the unmute button as fast as
Get a
I
quick
picture
Oh, I saw it
Christian
coming in my
missing.
way once you said Kobe. I knew it was happening.
I told you
Coming
we
in
need a
my-
siren. We need a siren
He could have used anyone
whenever
else.
Lakers slander pops
It's
up.
the
We need
perfect
like
one. It's the
flashing
perfect
lights or
one.
something.
Perfect one. Talking
Christian
about,
said it's
like,
Batman, Superman. Ain't no Batman, Robin.
Oh
That's
my
what-
gosh.
that's what he
Oh,
said.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Ev,
insanity, bro. I'm not.
So let me
Ev.
clean up a couple things real quick. One, I don't care what I said a week or two ago. It's absolute blasphemy that Jalen Brunson is not starting in this All-Star game.
There's the Nick take.
There
Put
we
that-
go.
Put
Now,
that,
okay.
put that
Before I
on
had to-
socials. Put that on the
We had to
league.
look
Put
at.
that
We had
in
to look at him
OT.
last week to be like, "Yo, blink twice if you're in
Yeah.
trouble."
Listen.
Thank you
right?
thank you. We know you're back. Thank you.
I'm good. All right. So with that said, the wrong choice was Damian Lillard here, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
First off, let's be clear. All right, with the season that Tyrese Halliburton is having, and with the All-Star game being in Indianapolis, there's absolutely no way nor no reason that Tyrese Halliburton would not be starting in this game. Like, we didn't even call that out a week or two ago. That's the most obvious answer it was. Tyrese Halliburton is starting in this game. Now, Dame, listen, Dame just got his coach fired. My bad. Dame
ain't get his coach fired. Adrian got his coach.
Dame got his former coach to quit, Terry Stotts, and his coach fired.
That's Giannis.
Adrian
Stop
Griffin.
it.
Okay, they're two I've never seen a player get two coaches fired in half a season.
That's Giannis. Stop
Dame
it.
Lillard for you. Two,
Dame has
Dame
never
isn't
done
even
that.
averaging. Dame isn't even averaging what he was averaging last year. Like, his numbers are down. His defense is atrocious. Dame should be coming off the bench. I'm sorry.
So wait, hold on. His numbers are down, right? His numbers are down, but aren't they right there with Jalen though?
They're right there with the player that is leading his team above expectations and not getting two coaches fired in 45
Oh,
games.
here you go.
Yes.
Coach James Fire has never played a part in All-Star balloting.
Are
This
we
is because
sure?
you got your Knicks.
Are we
shirt on.
sure?
Your Nick fandom is showing.
Oh
I'm
my
just
I'm gonna be real
gosh.
with you. I was surprised as a Dame fan. I thought he wasn't going to get the nod, but it also makes sense as to why he got the nod as well.
We talked about this last week.
Given the way the voting goes,
Mhm.
hey man, there's too many Dame fans out there. Brunson ain't got no fans.
No,
man.
listen.
We
This
talked
is
about this
what I
last
learned.
week.
So I'm glad you said this. This is what I learned from All-Star voting this year, is that the majority of people that vote seriously don't watch the NBA. Like, they vote off of names. This is almost like March Madness office pools, where people are just picking the teams that they're familiar with and going with it. There's no basketball related reason that Dame Lillard should be starting in this game. All right.
Disrespectful.
But his name is Dame Lillard, and his name is more famous than the other names. That's the reason he's starting. Sorry.
All right. Well,
No
given
disrespect to
that-
Dame Dollar.
given that
keep the rap
atrocious
career
take
going, but-
from Evan, that atrocious take from Evan, I have no reason and no recourse but to defend Dame. Like, there's no reason. This man don't need to be starting. Still clutch, still making things happen. I will do this all podcast long for the rest of the
You know why they have so
episode.
many clutch games, right? There's no reason
Because
they
he's
should
the
have so
man.
many close games, okay? But their defense is atrocious. All right.
But they're still better than the Knicks, though. That's my thing. So he's still on a team that is outpacing your team, that's better than your team, that has a better record than your team. He's still down in points, but still averaging about the same, if not more points than your player that's supposed to be starting.
Listen
What
to
more
him.
do you
God,
want?
relax.
Listen to her getting upset about the. Look at him get upset about his ex-girlfriend. Oh, Dame
he's
left
better.
you, okay? He don't love you no more.
Listen.
He moved to Milwaukee with his family
I can
and
still
left
want my
you in
old thing
Portland
back.
with Scoot
Ain't no-
Henderson, and you still defending this man?
Ain't nothing
He
wrong with
tricking
wanting my
somewhere
old
else.
thing back.
I'm sorry.
Ain't
I'm
nothing
sorry.
wrong with wanting my old thing back. Okay. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Because
man.
don't act like you ain't been a mellow whore your whole life. How many jerseys have you adorned following this man everywhere. Okay, so don't come do that. If we're gonna do that, don't come do that. 'Cause how many jerseys have you doing? Go pull out your Manny Mello jerseys, because you got a Portland one in there too. Thank you.
I would never buy a Portland jersey, but thank
Exactly, but he
him for
been there,
making
though.
your team relevant for 2 years.
Thank
okay?
you for bringing him back into the league. You're welcome.
Listen,
You're welcome.
that man
You're
left
welcome.
Portland, and Dame's 32.2 points a game turned into uselessness.
You're welcome.
Look, there's
He
only
said
one
Melo-
person in the league
Lou,
that
get us right,
scores
Lou.
useless
Get
points.
us right.
There's only one player that scores useless points, and he scored 60
Cat.
plus points
I knew he was about
and
to say
lost.
that.
Nah,
I knew he was about
man,
to say it. He was
Devin
about to say
Bag of Chips
Devin Bag of
Booger.
Chips.
Come on, man.
Listen,
Come on.
listen. Cat Funyun Bag is out here. Okay, he's out here. He's out here. Anywho, Dame should have been there. I don't care what nobody say. At all.
He
But-
should be there. His name should have
Should've
been
been there as
announced
a starter.
Thursday.
As a
We
starter,
should be
should've been
finding
there.
out about Dame this week, not
I
last
hate
week.
you.
But it's
Nah,
all good.
man.
Whoosh.
If that's your take for Dame, then it should be the same for LeBron. Stop it.
That's what I was gonna go next. Now this
It's
LBJ pick.
unanimous.
Come on, man. Come on.
It's
Well,
just
three-
I-
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 probably.
so. Question: if this wasn't in Indiana, we agree that Halliburton is not starting.
No, I think he's starting.
Yeah,
So
I
you
view
still
it-
think he starts
I
over
view his
Maxey?
season? I view his season.
Yo, his
different than
run,
y'all.
bro. His run. I think he's starting if it's not in Indiana. 100%.
Now I will say he's been hurt, and they're starting to falter. And honestly, the person we're not mentioning in all of this is Donovan Mitchell, who
Ooh.
is
Carrying.
ascending at this time. Whose
Jesus.
name, who when you look at both stats and record, may be the biggest snub out of all the names that we.
He's one of the
mentioned.
players averaging 30,
Not
right?
named Jalen Brunson, but right
He's
under
averaging
30,
30
I
right
think. I'll
now.
double check. If
Right?
you got it in
Yeah,
front of
close,
you,
close to
I feel
30.
like it's like 28, but still, for us to have this heated back and forth and not even mention Donovan Mitchell, he's as deserving as everybody that we mentioned in the East.
Yeah, it's
As far as the
27.7.
27.7 points.
When you round that
5.5
up,
rebounds, 6
that's
assists.
28. I get that. Ding, ding, ding. But when you're talking about the West, I think at least the three faces you see probably agree that LeBron is gotten this starting spot in name and stature more so than on-court performance this season. He may be the wrong Lakers starting based off of stats. But that's my take. But then again,
You saying D'Lo should have been starting?
I'm the
way he's been playing, I'm just
Should be in
saying.
the three-point
Somebody-
contest.
somebody's probably saying it.
The way he's been playing lately.
I agree.
Listen, man,
I'm with Hans.
playing for his what
his
we said earlier.
Reserve.
D'Lo playing for his life. What were the other two we said? Contract year, Tobias Harris.
No, Hoodie
And
Mello,
Hoodie Mello.
trade deadline D'Lo. Yeah.
There you go. The themes out here.
So you guys think KD
Oh.
should have been on the starting lineup over AD?
100%.
Yes,
100%.
for sure. Let's be real. KD is the best player in Phoenix. He's still one of the best
100%.
players in the league. So
He's
And they're
top 5
rounding
in
in the
scoring.
form as well. Yeah, top 5 in scoring. The team
Yeah.
itself is rounding in the form, looking better as of late. It's tough to say it's just strictly because of the record, but it does play a part in it. It's good. No offense, but as good as AD and LeBron have looked right now, the Lakers have been firmly in the play-in picture the entire season. Phoenix, despite injuries, to Booker, extended injury to Beal, KD, he's missed a few games, but he's been pretty reliable, and he's been carrying that team literally on his back on both ends of the court.
Yep.
Mhm.
Booker
You know,
averages
still-
more points than him though.
Yeah,
Booker's
0.1.
name. Yeah,
Is that more or
Point
less,
one.
Hans? Is that
that's what
0.1.
happens when you
62?
score.
Yeah, but
Okay.
at the time of the All-Star though, Kevin was averaging more. But right now,
Yeah, man.
Booker is.
When you can put up useless points.
Oh man,
There
bag
you
of
go.
chip points, huh? Doritos.
Empty calories, bro. A bunch of empty calories.
What do you guys think
I will
about this?
say, go
Oh, go ahead, Ev. My
ahead.
bad. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
don't know.
Ev.
I was just gonna say real quick. Just I picked on Portland and whatnot enough. So let me just throw this out there. What do you think about Nurkic, man? 43, 46 games played this year.
You're asking me what I think about it?
Looks like someone that the Portland Trailblazers need.
Oh no, listen, here's the issue. I said this again. When you're the fourth, fifth option, your usage goes down. Of course you're gonna be healthy. Yusuf Nurkic was the second option in Portland, and he failed. He
Gotcha.
can't be a second option. That's just what it is. At the end of the day,
That's fair.
he's not a second option, and we're sad that he couldn't live up to second option. But you mean to tell me if he was asked to be the second option in Phoenix, you think he'd be producing like that? Ain't no way.
No, absolutely not.
I wonder if he could
Yeah, I
drive
got dominating
roads. You think he could drive on icy roads?
Say it again.
You think Nurkic can drive on icy roads?
Listen, man, I have no idea what's going on with that whole ice situation, bro. I have no idea. But what I will say is this.
Gotta stay safe.
I will say this. As someone who has been a part of the apocalypse that happened down here in Atlanta, when roads aren't treated, I don't care what type of vehicle you have, if your roads are untreated and it's a hill, you ain't making it up there. That's physics. Not saying that I'm making an excuse for him, but also he hasn't been playing well enough for it to make a difference as well, too. So, you know.
I was really gonna say I'd be disappointed in the city of Portland, a place where I'm sure they see their fair share of snow to not be properly prepared.
Well, that's his driveway's problem. His driveway ain't the city. You take care of your own driveway.
You got too much money for that.
He's from the Bahamas, guys. Leave him alone.
Listen, man. But I will say this, though. The past 3 games, he's giving us what we needed. All I need is 15 and 10. I don't even need 20 and 10. I just need 15 and 10, bro.
You're asking for too much.
You try to set me up for jokes, and I'm not going to make them.
15 and 10. That's it.
Hans, how many players do you think average 10 rebounds a game?
He should be able to. He's a freaking #1 pick.
He is a true 7-footer.
Thank you. He should be able to, and he's done it. These past 2 games, he's given us 20s and 10s. Like, it's not outside the realm of possibility for him. He can give us 15 and 10. The thing for me, my issue with him is he's just not consistent. He's not consistent. And also, he's the type that needs the rock in his hand, which is the problem he had in Phoenix. In Phoenix, he wasn't going to get the rock in his hand enough to get going. He doesn't know, like, you guys know this. You've played. There are certain players who are great at playing without the ball with their hands and finding the rhythm. They play it's called playing in space. All right. They know how to play in space. They know how to get boards. They know how to get things going and do that. He didn't know how to do that in Phoenix. He thought he should get more touches so he can get going and get on the offense. They clearly weren't going to do that. Chris Paul wasn't going to make it happen. Neither was the coaching. So they shipped him off, et cetera, et cetera. He thought he was going to get that here. That's not happening here. And, you know, until he learned how to play in space and basically learn how to feed and get himself going without having a post play necessarily going to him all the time, we're going to keep getting that. The games he scores 20 and 10, he's playing in space. He's diving at the boards. He's going after rebounds. He's being aggressive down low. He's not getting the ball thrown to him in the post because Simons is giving us 30 at those games and Grant is giving us 15, 20. So whatever.
Last thing, I just want to chime in before you guys give your final thoughts. You know who's averaging 10 rebounds a game, Hans?
Do I know who's averaging 10?
Yeah.
You said
bonus and a couple other people.
Rebounds. Anyways.
Oh.
You said who? AD?
Yusef. Not you said. Yusef.
Yusef Nurkic. 10.3.
He's averaging. I think he's averaging 12.
That's fine. Yeah. You know how many shots Phoenix puts up? They have three shooters. I'd average 10 rebounds too. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. By the way, there's 15 players in the NBA that average 10 rebounds or more this season. So that's kind of a lot, actually. I didn't think there was going to be that much. But.
Well, when you have the amount of shooting that you have in this current league,
a lot of boards out there.
I'm just saying, there's no reason, man. Dude's not aggressive when he's aggressive. But whatever. This is not a Portland show. Let's not make it about that.
It can be whenever you want it to.
I mean, it can be, but it's not entertaining, man. We're at the bottom. We're fifth worst team in the NBA right now. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
Could be third.
We could be. Oh, last but not least, trades happen as well. We gotta wrap up real quick. Your thoughts? Is this trade Terry Rozier to the Heat? And we had Siakam, of course. Does this move the needle for the Heat? Terry Rozier. Does it put him up there with the Knicks? Does it put him up there with Cleveland, the Pacers? Does it separate them from the pack, the middle of the pack in the East?
I'll give my Heat take real quick. It'll be quick. They heard my boy Julius Randle. The Miami Heat can go to hell. Luke, you got it.
Wow. Sheesh.
Yeah, Evan.
Woo,
We on the same
wow.
page, bro.
That's a hot
That sounded like lose Grayson Allen take. God,
Hey, yo, please don't bring up that piece of trash. Purely a piece of trash, man.
Hey, yo,
Yeah.
okay, real quick, Lou, before you do that, I brought that up because Wilbon had the same take you did. He was like ESPN. He said, "Don't even speak that man's name because of what
Thank
he
you.
did to." But
Thank
anyway,
you.
but go ahead, Lou.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
And I don't even like him
I get
that
it.
much. But yeah,
That's wild.
trash. But no, I mean, yeah, look, Lowry is on his way out. You know, Lowry probably had maybe 1 or 2 more seasons left. Got to get younger guys, somebody to come into with your second unit and get it cracking, especially somebody who can shoot, give you some offense. I think it's good. I think it's a good move for them.
Go ahead.
I'll give another assessment to it. He struggled his first 3 games with the Heat. It is funny. Those shots get a little tighter when people are actually watching your games. When you are actually shooting from these aren't Charlotte jump shots anymore. These are Miami Heat jump shots. So he's got some refreshing to do on how he used to play in Boston. When the
I was about to
lights
say
are
he
on.
got to bring the Boston
Yeah.
memories back.
Yeah. He forgot shooting in front of people that care. But that's all I got. And last thing I have in closing is that I accused Hans of tricking. He called me a whore. So a great show. Great show indeed.
And on that note, guys, thank you for listening to the 303 podcast. As always, for more content, check out our overtime segment over on YouTube. See you guys next time.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, give us a thumbs up. If you really, really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you can keep up with us every week. Be sure to follow us on all our socials at the 3on3 podcast. Hey, got a question, topic you want us to talk about? Hit us up on our email at 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate y'all. Tune in next week.